What's up?
Shawn, what's it been like being back on the field, being back in your old familiar position?
Uh, in my position, but not in a familiar one. Things have changed
Yeah,
drastically,
yeah.
but it's just really good. Working. Anytime you come out here and work with a good group that wants to get better, I think it's always a good sign, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Was it an easy transition for you after the experience of last fall?
It wasn't a problem for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it really wasn't. It's about being comfortable around the guys that you're working with, and I think we all kind of gel, so to speak. I mean, if you can say that, how when you get around someone, you either got that awkward feeling or you feel like you're right at home. And I think we all felt right at home. We could communicate real easy with one another, and it was a good feeling from the start.
What was your reaction from your offensive lineman when you told them you were staying, and how did that come about?
Well, I think they kind of read about it.
Yeah.
I get a text from here and there, and they say, "Coach, you in or out? What's the deal?" And it was a good feeling from all of them. It was really good to know those guys wanted me. They apparently maybe they think I'm doing a halfway decent job. I don't know. Maybe they like me. Maybe I don't know. But something. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. It was a good feeling for me to I want to be back with them and see them come in. And you saw those guys, all the freshmen that came in a year ago that have such a promising future, and you want to see it out if you're the coach that brought them in.
How different, if any, is what your guys are doing technically in this system versus the previous system? Has it been much
Oh
of a
yeah,
change?
there's changes. Of course, there's changes in play scheme and plays and terminology and how you coach things, how Coach Roper wants things communicated and taught. So there's some similarities, but also some differences.
How much of your old terminology were you able to keep? Will said you tried to marry as much of it as you could.
Yeah, one of the great things about it, Coach Roper and I taught, he said, you've got a consistent group that's been, taught kind of your terminology or the terminology. So let's try to fit it as best as we can, and let's look and see where we can incorporate it in our scheme. And that's what we did. And, for us as an offensive line group, to go in and not have to really reteach or rethink was very beneficial for us coming into spring ball.
Shawn, how much do you think that your return here helped kind of ease the transition or worries that maybe not just your offensive linemen might have had, other guys on this team? They see your back, they battled for you. Maybe it makes it easier for them.
I don't know. I mean, if you've seen our off season, you've seen our spring practices, which none of you have. It has nothing been easy about it. These guys have been put to the test. They've been put through the burner out here in conditioning, and it hasn't been an easy. And maybe I'm just a familiar face. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But there's several familiar faces around here right now with support staff. But we've put them to the grind, and then they've responded, and hopefully it continues to get better.
At this point, how fluid is your rotation? I mean, are you working with a first five, or are you just throwing guys in there?
Spring
every day?
practice, fundamentally we're trying to get better individually right now to gel a front five or a first five. We're working with a first group. We certainly are. But today, I was throwing, Zach Bailey
was in there,
Stanley was in there, and we got, I put Zach Bailey in there. I'm just trying to get some reactions out of some players that I feel like can maybe be given a little bit better effort, playing a little bit better, trying to get a response out of them, and then also trying to find maybe a guy that's better suited for a left tackle position than a right tackle. It's spring practice. Throw everything out the window and throw everything in and see what comes out. So we're working a lot of combinations.
With the young guys that got some playing time last year,
Yeah.
Another offseason and conditioning and all. Have you seen them improve coming into this year?
Yeah, the strength and conditioning is one thing, especially with the off season we had, has really benefited those guys. Just the mindset to fight through things, fight through some adversity. They've done that from a season ago, but our all-season conditioning was a real struggle. When I say struggle, I mean mentally and physically, and it was tough as nails. And they had to grow up even more so than they had to during last season and even last fall, and it was very beneficial for all.
How much does it help to have a veteran like Alan Knott, who's already been here for a couple of years, playing center?
I think it's really beneficial. I mean, he's a guy that's got numerous snaps under his belt. I mean, we were looking at some old film today, and 3 years ago, there's Alan Knott starting in center. I think it was against Georgia if it was, but it's very beneficial. That's the guy that sets everything. He sets the skill sets of all of our players. He sets fronts. He's a communicator. Very beneficial. So it's helpful to have a guy in there that has that number of snaps under his belt.
And how beneficial is going to have to maybe have Cody Waldrop and finally get through a season without having an injury-free season and be able to play rather than sit on the sidelines, rehab from an injury.
Say that again.
Cody Waldrop.
Cody Waldrop's graduating. He's not practicing.
Okay,
this
sorry.
week. Yeah.
Corey
Sorry.
Helms said last year he felt like a practice dummy out there because he knew he couldn't actually get on the field to play in Williams-Brice. What does he bring to the table this year?
Oh God, he's brought leadership. I mean, and it's not a great thing, but football was taken away from him in a certain sense, and to have it given back, to sit out a year and just practice, and know you can't get out there and help your football team other than a scout team rep. Now it's his opportunity. He got the hunger that you could just see it build through last season. You could see his all season, how he worked, how he communicated, how he got on our other players, even though he didn't have the time and the energy to go out there and play for us in Cutton. But he has been one heck of a leader, and really pleased with him thus far.
You just talk about his ability to play both center and right guard. I mean, he was a freshman All-American a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he has the ability to play all three positions, center and both guards, which is beneficial for us.
Shawn, did last fall's experience, I don't know, did it change anything about what you do out here now? Did it change you at all a little bit? Did it enhance some of the things that you do?
I don't think it did at all. One day you wake up and you're the O-line coach, and the next morning you wake up and you're an interim head coach. But, I'd always said I'd been trying to prepare myself to do that one day, and I thought I'd, had everything in order. And, for the most part, it went okay from an organizational standpoint, a coaching standpoint. So nothing kind of really flew at me. But I didn't take anything away that I think I needed to change in my coaching style. I just think do it harder, do it longer, and do it better. I mean, that's all you can do.
Did it whet your appetite for down the road one day when you have your own program?
Coaching does that.
Yeah.
I mean, coaching does it. To say it didn't would be a lie.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you, every time you walk out on the field and you have the ability to go out there and communicate with guys that want to learn, it just builds the hunger inside you to do something more every day.
Have all the guys who were freshmen last year, the class that came in last year, have they made the progress you expect them to make over the past?
They certainly have.
Yeah.
They really have. You see the difference between Blake Camper this year and last year. I mean, physically, maturity-wise, intellect, all of the above. I think all of them have taken a step forward.
What about DJ Park, a guy like him, and who has basically been a backup since his time in India, but now is he challenging for a spot? What kind of progress has he
DJ
made?
Park is challenging for a start. He's been starting this in the first 5 the last few days. I actually bumped him back because of some effort the other day in a practice, but he's certainly battled. He's capable to go out there and win the starting job. If it's in his mind mentally to do that, he can certainly do it, but it's all up to him.